guest, Alex Castellanos, today. Alex, you're a well-known guy, and we're going to enjoy it.
Not always for good reasons.
Well, whatever. It's I could tell you a long story about that, but I won't. But you've got plenty to talk about, and I've got questions for you today. And so, where are we? We're coming up on 2016. And you have got a Purple Strategies is what is your deal.
It's our business, yep.
Yeah, and Steve McMahon is the Democrat on the side, or the liberal, and you are the conservative or the
That's
Republican.
Right.
Okay, kind of tell me what you're up to.
Well, on the business side, Purple tries to help corporate America fight for its right to succeed and sell stuff in Washington. We help companies and industries that are in trouble try to work their way out of it. We've done a lot of work for BP and folks like that. But
you're trying to help BP?
Yes, we are.
Work their way. You make it real clear. It's British government. You're not talking about Boone Pickens.
We're not trying to help that BP. The one with the smile sitting next to me, no, it's British Petroleum. We've tried to since they did spill a little oil a while back. We've
Wasn't
been
as
working
bad as
for
they
them.
thought it was.
Wasn't it bad? And the Gulf has come back, and the company has conducted itself real well. I think they have said they would make things right, and they have worked real hard to do so.
You don't remember me at that time, but I was on CNBC, and I said, let me tell you, this is not near as bad as everybody says it is. The way they were characterizing it kept calling it a spill. It was not a spill. It was a blowout is what it was. And it was a serious blowout. And the way they characterized the whole thing, that the Gulf of Mexico would never be the same again. And it was going to put everybody out of business. There would never be a clean beach.
Right, I remember those days.
Listen, all that is baloney.
And you were right. And now the Gulf of Mexico is not the same. It's better.
It is, and
we've got a pretty resilient planet, don't we?
We have that, and that cost BP so much more than it should have.
But they're good folks. They did the right thing, so that's part of what we're doing.
They were scared to death too.
And the other thing we're trying to do is make sure that the Republican Party moves forward and puts up good candidates that can lead the country into the future, that believe that being a conservative is more than saying no to everything, that you got to lead the country in a better direction.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm a good conservative, and no hadn't been my game, and I'm still around. I'm 87 years old.
Well,
and working every day. Okay, tell me.
Yeah.
There isn't any doubt that that we'll win the House and Senate in the 16 campaign, is it?
None. I think it's tougher in the Senate. We're going to keep the House, but the Senate, there are a lot more Republican seats up now than Democrat this time around. And there are key seats that matter. We're going to have to win in Colorado. We're going to have to win in North Carolina. There'll be some tough states, but I think we have a chance of taking the Senate.
Does Richard Burr come up in North Carolina?
Yes, he does. He does.
He's going to win, isn't he?
Well, it depends who runs against him, but right now he's looking pretty good. He's working hard, raising a lot of money. He doesn't have a lot of opposition just yet.
He's been a good senator.
That's been a purple state.
He tried to carry the energy bill and had it won, but 51 won't win. You had to have 60. It's a new deal up there. I don't understand.
I don't understand how majority rule works like that. I thought the majority was a majority, but apparently it's 60. I didn't know that.
You say that we'll hold the House and the Senate.
I believe we have a chance of hanging on to the Senate. Yes, we do.
And third term deal, whoever the Democrats run, and I don't think it'll be Hillary.
I agree.
But who is it that we're going to have that's going to win for us?
It's a tough call to make today because all our candidates need to grow some. They're not developed yet. It's like the fruit's not quite ripe.
So you don't know.
Well, I'd say this. Campaigns don't pick candidates as much as they make candidates. These candidates grow. They stumble. They fall. They have to work for it. Some of them fall and get crushed. Right now, a lot of Republicans are having to figure out, what do they do about a Donald Trump? How do they imagine you're in their shoes and you're having to get out there and compete against Donald Trump every day. You either get stronger and bigger and become something better than you are, or you kind of fade into the wallpaper. So some of these candidates got to step up. Who do I like? I think Jeb Bush was a great governor of Florida, and I think voters right now think they want something a little bigger in the Republican Party, a little stronger. But Jeb Bush is a strong guy. I think Marco Rubio is a candidate of the future, very strong. Scott Walker.
Now, wait a second. You were born in Cuba.
I was born in Cuba, so I have a little
and
predilection.
Rubio was too, right?
Rubio was actually born here, but to Cuban parents.
Okay. But, okay.
So he's kind of one of us, yeah.
Okay. But 30 seconds on the subject. What is this deal that Obama's done with Cuba? Has it helped anybody?
Well, if you talk to the dissidents in Cuba, by the way, the ones who Secretary Kerry said should be at the ceremony down there, and the Cuban government said no and arrested them. If you talk to the Cuban dissidents, they say don't do this, don't open up Cuba, because all the money and the trade and everything else just goes to support the oppressive government we have now. Now that it's done, what is my hope? Now that it's done, I hope that Americans' freedom will just infect Cuba. You know, nobody does freedom like the United States does it. We're just, you know, when we infect you with blue jeans and the NBA and music, you know, and McDonald's,
we have a real country.
We have a real country. And when people taste a little bit of freedom, they generally want more. So that's my hope now. But at the end of the day, I look at it and figure we didn't get much back in this deal. They got a lot, and we're selling stoves to Hitler. And I just have a hard time with that one.
I didn't understand it, but I don't understand Obama and Kerry deals. I mean, listen, I know Kerry from the Swift boat days.
I remember that.
You bet. And Kerry tried to give up to North Vietnam back in what years was that? It was a bad deal. I remember when he tried to make it with the North Vietnamese, and but that developed a swift boat, and that got him beaten.
It did. And apparently he has not changed his thinking much since those days.
No, I don't think he has either.
I agree with that.
Okay, now you gave me a quick one on that you don't. You named off 2 or 3 guys, and you want to see them develop a little more than where they are right now.
And I think they will.
And you're helping them with their plans to.
Well, anybody who asks, newrepublican.org, we're trying to help everybody. We're like the Hard Rock Cafe of politics. Love all and serve all, as long as you're a Republican. So we're trying to help them all.
Well, and I'm for you. You know that. I'm sitting here.
Means
helping.
a lot.
And but I could not believe Romney lost. How could a guy with Obama, like Obama, and have 4 years of the worst administration I have ever witnessed? And you know, the other day I was in Des Moines, Iowa, and made a speech up there, and I said from the first time I voted for a Republican, and I've never voted for a Democrat for president of the United States. And somebody from the audience said, "Who was the first person you voted for?" I said, I'm 87. It'd have to be Abe Lincoln. And the audience didn't laugh for 15 seconds. And then they did, and then they applauded me.
Well, you did you voted for Abe Lincoln. I did his TV commercials.
No, hell no, you're not even. No, but you know who it was, the first one I voted for?
Who?
Tom Dewey.
Really?
Yeah. In 1948.
That close, right?
Yep. It's been great talking to you. Is there anything else you want to tell me?
No, I would say this, that you have changed this country in some wonderful ways. You have been responsible for powering the energy that has powered so much of the growth and success of the greatest country in the world. And that is it's a privilege to be here with you. And it's a privilege to see that you're still out there trying to help us renew the greatest place on earth. It's a privilege to try to fight that battle every day, and it's a treat to be here.
Well, you know we're on camera today, not just radio.
Uh-oh.
Okay, and you see how I'm dressed. Well, today I just came from Cooper Aerobic Center, and I have gone 30 years for an annual physical to Cooper. And so today, that's where I was. That's why I'm dressed like this. But it's, we in America have the cheapest energy in the world. I have never heard a politician say that.
Hard to believe.
Yeah, it is hard to believe.
Hard to believe.
We have the cheapest oil by 10%. We have the cheapest natural gas by 75%, maybe 85%. And we have the cheapest gasoline by 50%. Now, if you can't build the economy off the cheapest energy in the world, there's something wrong with you.
There's a stronger, better, more prosperous America just over the horizon, and this is fueling it. Cheap energy can fuel that. It's a remarkable moment. Remember a few years ago when folks were saying we have to learn to live with scarcity?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Depend on the rest of the world?
Oh, I remember Jimmy Carter.
Yep.
He'd given up. I mean, we were, he had the Fuel Use Act,
Yep.
which was repealed after 25 or 30 years.
Yep.
But no good ideas that I know of that have come out of the Democrats. I mean, they've got to get a plan, and we do too.
Yep, we do.
We've got to get a plan. But I can tell you the oil and gas industry, 85% of them are conservatives.
Well, it's a good time for all of us to step up and remember that what we believe and our faith in freedom is not only good for saying don't touch the hot stove. What the Democrats doing is wrong. We can cook something on that stove. We can lead the country to a better place. If we open up this economy for growth, if we fuel it with the cheapest energy in the world, if we open up our education system, we're still teaching our kids in boxes called classrooms from 100 years ago when all the information in the planet is now in your hand on a phone. If we open up our healthcare system so that patients and doctors could choose their ideas, can change the world.
That's
and
right.
We got them. So I think it's a good time. This is a
And one other
transformative
thing,
moment.
Give me 30 seconds on it. The missing link to date has been leadership.
Yeah.
Okay. We have got to come up with some leadership.
Yeah, we do. And whatever you think of Donald Trump, people are afraid today that we're losing our country, that our country is in decline, and they want a leader, a big one. They want one as big as our fears, as big as their worries. And Trump right now is bright, bold colors, and a lot of the other candidates look kind of like pastel. So our guys all need to step up, I think, and lead.
Oh, Donald's shown him something here. Donald's a big guy, and he's got a big mouth.
Competition is good, though. Let's see
right.
what it'll bring out the best in us.
That guy's gotten more earned television than anybody I've ever seen in my lifetime.
Yeah,
he has.
He's a brilliant salesman.
Yep.
In my view, he's kind of a shark, and he eats whatever's in front of him, and that's fine if it's Democrats, but it's not so good if he heads our way, and I don't think he's a Republican or a Democrat. I think he's kind of just a Trump. And that's me.
I was surprised. I always thought Donald was a Democrat.
Yeah.
And but
many ways he is, but there's some good candidates out there, and this is a good moment to step up and lead the country. And it's a privilege to be here with you and talk about it a bit.
Good. Alex, enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it.
We can do this until Sunday.
Anytime you want.
Okay. Good. Thanks.
Thank you.
You bet.
Take care.